ಕಡಲ ನಗರಿ ಮಂಗಳೂರಿನ ಸುಂದರ ಹಸಿರ ಸಿರಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುವ ವಿದ್ಯಾಸಂಸ್ಥೆ ಇದು. ಅಪೋಸ್ಟೋಲಿಕ್ ಕಾರ್ಮೆಲ್ ಕ್ರೈಸ್ತ ಸನ್ಯಾಸಿನಿಯರ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯ ಮದರ್ ಮೇರಿ ಅಲ್ವೀಶಾರವರ ಆಶೀರ್ವಾದ ಮತ್ತು ದೂರಗಾಮಿ ಚಿಂತನೆಗಳೊಂದಿಗೆ 1921ರಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆ ಮಂಗಳೂರಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಆರಂಭವಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆರಂಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇವಲ ಬೆರಳೆಣಿಕೆಯಷ್ಟು ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಂದ ಪುಟ್ಟ ಪುಟ್ಟ ಹೆಜ್ಜೆನಿಟ್ಟು ಬೆಳೆದು ಆರಂಭವಾದ ಈ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆ ಇಂದು ಲಕ್ಷಾಂತರ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳ ಭವಿಷ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣವನ್ನ ದಾರಿ ಎರೆಯುವ ಮೂಲಕ ಭದ್ರ ಬುನಾದಿ ಹಾಕಿಕೊಟ್ಟಿದೆ. ಅಂದಹಾಗೆ ಈ ವಿದ್ಯಾಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯ ಹೆಸರು ಸೇಂಟ್ ಆಗ್ನೆಸ್. ಕಡಲ ನಗರಿ ಮಂಗಳೂರಿನ ಸೇಂಟ್ ಆಗ್ನೆಸ್ ಕಾಲೇಜು ದಕ್ಷಿಣ ಭಾರತದಲ್ಲಿ ಮೊದಲ ಕ್ಯಾಥೋಲಿಕ್ ಮಹಿಳಾ ಕಾಲೇಜ್ ಮತ್ತು ದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿಯೇ 2ನೇ ಮಹಿಳಾ ಕಾಲೇಜ್ ಎಂಬ ಖ್ಯಾತಿ ಹೊಂದಿರುವ ವಿದ್ಯಾಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯಾಗಿದೆ. ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಕಾಲೇಜುಗಳಿಗೆ ಹೋಲಿಸಿದಾಗ ಸೇಂಟ್ ಆಗ್ನೆಸ್ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಗೆ ಮಹತ್ವದ ಹೆಸರಿದೆ. ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿನ ಶ್ರೀಮಂತಿಕೆಯ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆಯೇ ಕಾರಣ. ಇದೀಗ 90 ದಶಕಗಳನ್ನು ದಾಟಿ ಶತಮಾನದ ಹೊಸ್ತಿಲಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದು ನಿಂತಿರುವ ಸೇಂಟ್ ಆಗ್ನೆಸ್ ಕಾಲೇಜು ಜಗತ್ತಿನಾದ್ಯಂತ ಯಶಸ್ವಿಯಾಗಿರುವ ಮಂಗಳೂರಿನ ಪ್ರಮುಖ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯಾಗಿದೆ. ಸೇಂಟ್ ಆಗ್ನೆಸ್ ಕಾಲೇಜು ಉತ್ತಮ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣಕ್ಕೆ ಹೆಸರಾದ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆ. ಕಲೆ, ವಿಜ್ಞಾನ, ವಾಣಿಜ್ಯ, ಆಡಳಿತ ನಿರ್ವಹಣೆ, ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟರ್ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ನಂತಹ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಶಾಖೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿನಿಯರನ್ನು ತರಬೇತುಗೊಳಿಸುತ್ತಿರುವುದರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಸಹಸ್ರಾರು ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿನಿಯರ ಪಾಲಿಗೆ ಈ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆ ದಾರಿದೀಪವಾಗಿದೆ. ಇಷ್ಟೇ ಅಲ್ಲದೆ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಬ್ಬ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿನಿಯರನ್ನು ಬಹಳ ಹತ್ತಿರದಿಂದ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಬಡ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳ ಕಲಿಕೆಗೂ ಸಹಕರಿಸುತ್ತಿರುವುದು ಈ ಕಾಲೇಜಿನ ವೈಶಿಷ್ಟ್ಯಗಳಲ್ಲೊಂದು. ಇನ್ನು ಈ ಕಾಲೇಜಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣಕ್ಕೆ ಪೂರಕವಾಗಿ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಸಂಘಗಳಿವೆ. ಪಾಠ ಪ್ರವಚನಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿನಿಯರು ವಿಶೇಷ ಆಸಕ್ತಿ ವಹಿಸುವಂತೆ ಮಾಡಿ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಅಂಕಗಳನ್ನು ಗಳಿಸುವುದಕ್ಕೆ ಸೇಂಟ್ ಆಗ್ನೆಸ್ ಕಾಲೇಜು ಪ್ರೋತ್ಸಾಹಿಸುತ್ತಿದೆ. ಸುಮಾರು 2.5 ಎಕರೆಯಷ್ಟು ವಿಶಾಲ ಜಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಹಬ್ಬಿದ ಈ ಕಾಲೇಜಿನಲ್ಲಿ ವಿಸ್ತಾರವಾದ ಗ್ರಂಥಾಲಯವಿದ್ದು ಸಂಶೋಧನೆಗೆ ಸೂಕ್ತವಾದ ಪ್ರಯೋಗಾಲಯಗಳು ಸದಾ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿನಿಯರ ಅಧ್ಯಯನಕ್ಕೆ ಲಭ್ಯವಿದೆ. ಪಾಠದಷ್ಟೇ ಆಟವನ್ನು ಪ್ರೋತ್ಸಾಹಿಸುವ ಈ ಕಾಲೇಜು ವಿಶಾಲ ಕ್ರೀಡಾಂಗಣವನ್ನು ಹೊಂದಿದ್ದು ದೈಹಿಕ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣವು ಅತ್ಯುತ್ತಮವಾಗಿದೆ. ಬಹು ಅಧ್ಯಯನ ಶಾಖೆಯ ಮ್ಯೂಸಿಯಂ, ಎಡಿಟಿಂಗ್ ಸ್ಟುಡಿಯೋ, ಕಾರ್ಮೆಲ್ ಜಿಮ್, ಯೋಗ ತರಬೇತಿಗಳು ಕೂಡ ಇಲ್ಲಿದ್ದು ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿನಿಯರ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣಕ್ಕೆ ಪೂರಕವಾಗಿ ಬೆಳೆದು ನಿಂತಿದೆ. ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ ಕ್ಷೇತ್ರದಲ್ಲಿ ಉನ್ನತ ಸಾಧನೆ ಮಾಡಿದ ಈ ಕಾಲೇಜಿಗೆ ಹಲವಾರು ಗೌರವ ಪ್ರಶಸ್ತಿಗಳು ಹಾಗೂ ಮೌಲ್ಯಾಂಕನಗಳು ಸಂದಿವೆ. ಅನೇಕ ಬಾರಿ ನ್ಯಾಕ್ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯಿಂದ 5 ಸ್ಟಾರ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟಸ್ ಪಡೆದುಕೊಂಡಿರುವ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಎ ಗ್ರೇಡ್ ಮತ್ತು A+ ಗ್ರೇಡ್ ಮಾನ್ಯತೆಯನ್ನು ಪಡೆದುಕೊಂಡು ಉತ್ತಮ ಸಂಚಲನ ಮೂಡಿಸಿದೆ. ಇಷ್ಟೇ ಅಲ್ಲದೆ ಸೇಂಟ್ ಆಗ್ನೆಸ್ ಕಾಲೇಜಿಗೆ ವಿಶ್ವವಿದ್ಯಾನಿಲಯ ಅನುದಾನ ಆಯೋಗದಿಂದ ಕಾಲೇಜ್ ಆಫ್ ಎಕ್ಸಲೆನ್ಸ್ ಹಾಗೂ ಭಾರತ ಸರ್ಕಾರದ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ ಕಾಲೇಜ್ ಸ್ಟೇಟಸ್ ಮಾನ್ಯತೆ ಕೂಡ ದೊರಕಿರುವುದು ಹೆಮ್ಮೆಯ ಸಂಗತಿ. ಸೇವೆಯ ಮೂಲಕ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ, ಶಿಕ್ಷಣದ ಮೂಲಕ ಸೇವೆ ಅನ್ನುವಂತೆ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಸೇವಾ ಮನೋಭಾವನೆ, ಶಿಸ್ತು, ಸಂಯಮ, ನಾಯಕತ್ವ, ಜವಾಬ್ದಾರಿಯುತ ವ್ಯಕ್ತಿತ್ವವನ್ನು ಬೆಳೆಸುವ ಧ್ಯೇಯವನ್ನು ಇಟ್ಟುಕೊಂಡಿರುವ ಸೇಂಟ್ ಆಗ್ನೆಸ್ ಕಾಲೇಜು ನಡೆದುಕೊಂಡು ಬಂದಿರುವ ಹಾದಿಯನ್ನು ಶ್ಲಾಘಿಸಲೇಬೇಕು. ಕಡಲ ನಗರಿ ಮಂಗಳೂರಿನ ಸುಂದರ ಹಸಿರ ಸಿರಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುವ ವಿದ್ಯಾಸಂಸ್ಥೆ ಇದು. ಅಪೋಸ್ಟೋಲಿಕ್ ಕಾರ್ಮೆಲ್ ಕ್ರೈಸ್ತ ಸನ್ಯಾಸಿನಿಯರ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯ ಮದರ್ ಮೇರಿ ಅಲ್ವೀಶಾರವರ ಆಶೀರ್ವಾದ ಮತ್ತು ದೂರಗಾಮಿ ಚಿಂತನೆಗಳೊಂದಿಗೆ 1921ರಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆ ಮಂಗಳೂರಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಆರಂಭವಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಆರಂಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇವಲ ಬೆರಳೆಣಿಕೆಯಷ್ಟು ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಂದ ಪುಟ್ಟ ಪುಟ್ಟ ಹೆಜ್ಜೆನಿಟ್ಟು ಬೆಳೆದು ಆರಂಭವಾದ ಈ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆ ಇಂದು ಲಕ್ಷಾಂತರ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳ ಭವಿಷ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣವನ್ನ ದಾರಿ ಎರೆಯುವ ಮೂಲಕ ಭದ್ರ ಬುನಾದಿ ಹಾಕಿಕೊಟ್ಟಿದೆ. ಅಂದಹಾಗೆ ಈ ವಿದ್ಯಾಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯ ಹೆಸರು ಸೇಂಟ್ ಆಗ್ನೆಸ್. ಕಡಲನಗರಿ ಮಂಗಳೂರಿನ ಸೇಂಟ್ ಆಗ್ನೆಸ್ ಕಾಲೇಜು ದಕ್ಷಿಣ ಭಾರತದಲ್ಲಿ ಮೊದಲ ಕ್ಯಾಥೋಲಿಕ್ ಮಹಿಳಾ ಕಾಲೇಜ್ ಮತ್ತು ದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿಯೇ ಎರಡನೇ ಮಹಿಳಾ ಕಾಲೇಜ್ ಎಂಬ ಖ್ಯಾತಿ ಹೊಂದಿರುವ ವಿದ್ಯಾಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯಾಗಿದೆ. ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಕಾಲೇಜುಗಳಿಗೆ ಹೋಲಿಸಿದಾಗ ಸೇಂಟ್ ಆಗ್ನೆಸ್ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಗೆ ಮಹತ್ವದ ಹೆಸರಿದೆ. ಇದಕ್ಕೆ ಇಲ್ಲಿನ ಶ್ರೀಮಂತಿಕೆಯ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ ವ್ಯವಸ್ಥೆಯೇ ಕಾರಣ. ಇದೀಗ 90 ದಶಕಗಳನ್ನು ದಾಟಿ ಶತಮಾನದ ಹೊಸ್ತಿಲಲ್ಲಿ ಬಂದು ನಿಂತಿರುವ ಸೇಂಟ್ ಆಗ್ನೆಸ್ ಕಾಲೇಜು ಜಗತ್ತಿನಾದ್ಯಂತ ಯಶಸ್ವಿಯಾಗಿರುವ ಮಂಗಳೂರಿನ ಪ್ರಮುಖ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆಯಾಗಿದೆ. ಸೇಂಟ್ ಆಗ್ನೆಸ್ ಕಾಲೇಜು ಉತ್ತಮ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣಕ್ಕೆ ಹೆಸರಾದ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆ. ಕಲೆ, ವಿಜ್ಞಾನ, ವಾಣಿಜ್ಯ, ಆಡಳಿತ ನಿರ್ವಹಣೆ, ಕಂಪ್ಯೂಟರ್ ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ನಂತಹ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಶಾಖೆಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿನಿಯರನ್ನು ತರಬೇತುಗೊಳಿಸುತ್ತಿರುವುದರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಸಹಸ್ರಾರು ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿನಿಯರ ಪಾಲಿಗೆ ಈ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆ ದಾರಿದೀಪವಾಗಿದೆ. ಇಷ್ಟೇ ಅಲ್ಲದೆ ಪ್ರತಿಯೊಬ್ಬ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿನಿಯರನ್ನು ಬಹಳ ಹತ್ತಿರದಿಂದ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಂಡು ಬಡ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳ ಕಲಿಕೆಗೂ ಸಹಕರಿಸುತ್ತಿರುವುದು ಈ ಕಾಲೇಜಿನ ವೈಶಿಷ್ಟ್ಯಗಳಲ್ಲೊಂದು. ಇನ್ನು ಈ ಕಾಲೇಜಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣಕ್ಕೆ ಪೂರಕವಾಗಿ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಸಂಘಗಳಿವೆ. ಪಾಠ ಪ್ರವಚನಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿನಿಯರು ವಿಶೇಷ ಆಸಕ್ತಿ ವಹಿಸುವಂತೆ ಮಾಡಿ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಅಂಕಗಳನ್ನು ಗಳಿಸುವುದಕ್ಕೆ ಸೇಂಟ್ ಆಗ್ನೆಸ್ ಕಾಲೇಜು ಪ್ರೋತ್ಸಾಹಿಸುತ್ತಿದೆ. ಸುಮಾರು 2.5 ಎಕರೆಯಷ್ಟು ವಿಶಾಲ ಜಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಹಬ್ಬಿದ ಈ ಕಾಲೇಜಿನಲ್ಲಿ ವಿಸ್ತಾರವಾದ ಗ್ರಂಥಾಲಯವಿದ್ದು ಸಂಶೋಧನೆಗೆ ಸೂಕ್ತವಾದ ಪ್ರಯೋಗಾಲಯಗಳು ಸದಾ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿನಿಯರ ಅಧ್ಯಯನಕ್ಕೆ ಲಭ್ಯವಿದೆ. ಪಾಠದಷ್ಟೇ ಆಟವನ್ನು ಪ್ರೋತ್ಸಾಹಿಸುವ ಈ ಕಾಲೇಜು ವಿಶಾಲ ಕ್ರೀಡಾಂಗಣವನ್ನು ಹೊಂದಿದ್ದು ದೈಹಿಕ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣವು ಅತ್ಯುತ್ತಮವಾಗಿದೆ. ಬಹು
ನೀವು ನೋಡು ನನಗೇನು ಅದೇ
Then might be pretty. Good morning, students. Good morning, all the invitees. Good morning, Shweta madam. Are you all ready? Shall we start? Yes. Good morning and a hearty welcome to the webinar on how to combat examination fear, jointly organized by St. Agnes College Autonomous Mangaluru and Mangala Alumni Association, Mangalore University. If all are ready for the webinar, let us begin. Good morning and a cordial welcome to all the invitees and students who have joined us in this platform from across the countries to attend an online webinar. Special welcome to Sister Dr. Vanessa A.C., Principal of St. Agnes College, Sister Rupa A.C., the Vice Principal of the college, Sri Dinesh Kumar Alva, Chairman of MAPS Group of Institutions and the President of Mangala Alumni Association, and a friendly welcome to all the EC members of MA, Mrs. Sabina D'Souza, the Organizing Secretary of the webinar, and the esteemed resource person of the webinar and our technical staff. Dear students, we all are experiencing an unprecedented crisis of COVID-19 pandemic. Schools and colleges have been closed down, and most of the examinations are postponed. Students are in a dilemma of making preparations for their examinations. During this tough time, it's quite natural to undergo stress, anxiety, and fear of facing the examination. Dear friends, our elders have advised us that depression in failure should never go to heart, and ego in success should never go to brain. All the problems are stuck between mind and matter. If you don't mind, it doesn't matter, because God simply says, work hard and trust me. Yes, trusting in the supreme power of God Almighty, we the organizers of this webinar have decided to create an online platform to our student friends to learn some techniques on how to overcome the examination fear under the aegis of St. Agnes College Autonomous, Mangaluru, Karnataka, and Mangala Alumni Association, Mangalore University, Mangala Gangotri. Sponsored by UGC Paramarsha Scheme. The topic of this webinar is quite relevant, germane, and need of the hour to many of you. Life is a journey with problems to solve and lessons to learn and experiences to enjoy. To guide and solve your problems of examination anxieties and fears, we have chosen a most appropriate resourceful speaker who is a postgraduate in clinical psychology and child mental health, obtained a diploma in special education and a doctorate degree from Mysore University on the topic shyness in relation to orientation to mental illness and help-seeking behavior among caregivers of psychotic patients. She has been regularly conducting sessions on child psychology, parenting, and personal well-being. She is a multi-talented personality and has won several prizes and recognitions for her achievements in dance, speech, and paper presentations. Her special interests are reading, writing, drawing, and traveling to explore new experiences in life. She is an excellent motivator and a trusted counselor and a psychologist also. Dear participants, I request you to join me to offer a genial and a warm welcome to the resource speaker of the webinar, Dr. Shweta Keti, Director, Anirveda Resource Center for Psychological Wellbeing, Mangalore, Karnataka. Dear Shweta Madam, a cordial welcome to you. And without much ado, I request you to appear before the screen and address the students who are very eagerly waiting for you all over the country. Over to you, madam.
A very good morning to all of you. Am I audible to all of you? Yeah. Okay, so thank you so much. Thank you so much, ma'am, for that introduction and made my day. You made my day for today. Thank you so much. And I agree with you. The whole COVID situation has been stressful, not only for students, but all people around the globe. So other than exam anxiety, also we see or we work with a lot of people every day who come in with issues of anxiety, come in with issues of low mood, poor productivity, unable to focus or concentrate, and issues like that. So today we would basically discuss, because this is a big student lot. I am quite amazed with the responses and the registrations for today, and quite worried about, how anxious our younger generation is about exams and future. So we would begin the presentation. Most of these things are what you already know, but I would like to put it from a psychologist's perspective and try to help you better. We will have a presentation for 1.5 hours, followed by a half an hour of discussion. This is how we do it. Through the presentation, if you all have any doubts, you can put it up on the chat box and I'll try to address them. And also that we would have a very interactive session. So I might ask, because I generally like a talking crowd because it's nice to interact and talk to young adults like all of you. So I generally enjoy a very interactive session, but unfortunately, because of this situations, otherwise Devi ma'am has already always called me for sessions wherein I need to address people in a huge auditorium or so like that. But this is, I hardly can see anybody around over here. So, but we'll try to make it as interactive as possible. I would definitely ask you a lot of questions and opinions. You can put them all on your chat box. So all of you, be slightly active on your chat box. And as ma'am suggested, let us not unmute ourselves anywhere in between until the administrator or the coordinators ask you to do. Let us not press or, by any chance click on the present now button on the screen. And maybe we can start discussing about exam anxiety. If you all want to see my presentation, I have a PowerPoint presentation. You have to pin on the screen KT Shweta. So whichever screen you can see me talking now, just pin on that screen on your mobile or laptop. Then you can see the presentation. In between, any queries you have, any way you're stuck or you feel lost somewhere, please put it up on the chat box so that, we know we have to get you back again on track. With this, we begin. Question number 1 for all of you. How many of you generally feel anxious about things you have to do in life? It need not be exams. Let's keep exams aside. Small little things like, I am very anxious from day before yesterday. From the time I saw a message which stated there are 1,250 registrants for this webinar, I have been anxious. And probably because I was anxious, I have read 2-3 textbooks extra also. Okay, so how many of you are anxious? Generally, it's not about examinations, but things like, preparing for an examination or, going for a wedding, or anxious when somebody has told, your HOD is calling you, or you have to make a presentation, or you have to attend a function. So there is this huge crowd. Most of you feel very, very anxious. Okay. How do you understand that you are getting anxious? How does your body tell you? How do you feel? How do you all realize that, yes, I am anxious. This is anxiety. How do you all realize this? How is that realization happening? Yes, all of you are anxious. I get that point. Now, how do you realize that you are anxious? How does your body tell you that you are anxious? Like for me, I have a lump in the throat. I have butterflies in my stomach. I start sweating. So this is how I know I am anxious. Okay, so there are sweating people, there are nervous people, there are people with heartbeats. Your hands get cold. Okay, there is cold flush. People are restless. People are shivering. People are nervous. Okay. How do you know that this anxiety is you or not helping you? How many of you feel that this anxiety helps you? How many of you feel that this anxiety helps you? That because of this anxiety, I'm doing well, or because of this anxiety, things get better for me? How many of you feel that? How many of you feel a little amount of anxiety is needed? Okay, there are many people like me who have butterflies in their stomach. I think there are butterflies on my laptop also. My presentation is just not opening. Yeah. Okay. Okay. My next question was, how many of you feel that this anxiety actually helps you? How many of you feel that if you're anxious, that is when you do better? Little anxiety is required. How many of you feel that? Yes. Okay, so many of you feel that a little anxiety is required, isn't it? Most of us feel that a little anxiety is required. Yes, you stress. Okay, a lot of you feel that a little anxiety is required. Okay, so now You all are aware of the fact that all of us get anxious. You all are aware of the fact that I know or I understand how my body tells me that I am anxious. And three, all of you know that a little or a majority of you know that a little amount of anxiety is very, very much needed for all of us to perform better. You all are still not able to see my presentation. I've already shared my screen. The presentation is not visible.
We can see, madam.
Okay, you are able to see. Okay. Okay. So this is an amazing start for all of us. When we already know that we get anxious, we know that how our body responds to anxiety. And three, when we all know that a limited amount of anxiety is required for us to function better. So much is an amazing start for all of us. So then what are we basically going to discuss in the next 1.5 hours? What is that we are going to speak about? Okay, so we'll basically speak about what is anxiety. We'll speak specifically about test or symptoms of anxiety. We'll speak of symptoms of exam anxiety or test anxiety. We will speak about causes of exam anxiety. We will speak about management, and then we will speak about when you need to see a professional. That is, when is it that you will have to go consult a psychologist or a counselor, because most of the times we are able to manage this anxiety ourselves. Okay, so now the first question, what is anxiety? See, basically what is anxiety is that it is nothing but a normal reaction to stress or something which is difficult. Now, how is it? See, all of us, every day, we are not, life is not a bed of roses. There are stressful situations for all of us. Like, for example, suddenly when the lockdown was declared, it was stressful for all of us. Or one day when you are late and you have to, that it's an important class, it is stressful for you. So anxiety is nothing but a normal reaction to a specified stressor. And whenever you are anxious, you clearly know what is making you anxious. Okay, whenever you are anxious, you clearly know what is making you anxious. And anxiety has a start point and an end point. Anxiety clearly has a start point and end point. That is, it begins with a stressor, ends once the stressor is over. And as we discussed in the beginning, anxiety can be helpful or motivational. That is, many a times it is actually because of anxiety that we prepare well for the examination, we study. All of this is basically because we are anxious. So to a certain extent, anxiety can be helpful or motivational. So until a minimum level of anxiety is there, most of us are not able to function better. Okay, and once the stressful situation is gone away, the anxiety also goes away. So it is there with the stressful situation, and once the stressful situation goes away, the anxiety also goes away. And once anxiety often goes away, there is a calm down state. So in a to put anxiety in very simple, it is nothing but the way in which our body responds to stress. This is the most simplest way in which we can explain anxiety. Now coming to exam anxiety, straight to business. What is exam anxiety? I told you in my previous slide that anxiety is in response to a particular stress. So what is exam anxiety? What is the stressor here? What is the stressor in exam anxiety? What is the stressor in exam anxiety? Yeah, examinations, exam. Okay, so exam anxiety is nothing but examination or anxiety that stresses because or starts because of anxiety. So it is nothing but fear or panic before, during an assessment. Okay, it is before an assessment, during an assessment. Okay, that is exam anxiety. See, we need to know that a little nervousness is very normal before a test. That needs to be there. If that is not there, then we are not able to perform. That's absolutely fine. 3, test anxiety can happen with all of us. It has no particular age group. It can occur across anybody when there is a testing situation. Now, when you say a testing situation, it can be writing an examination, it can be attending an interview. So test anxiety can happen in any of the testing situations, and it is across all age groups. It is not that a third standard child will not feel anxious, a degree boy will not feel anxious, nothing like that. It is across age groups. So test anxiety can actually affect anybody. Now, how does test anxiety look like? What are the symptoms of exam anxiety? Okay, now you can divide the symptoms of exam anxiety into cognitive symptoms, emotional symptoms, and physical symptoms. When I say cognitive symptoms, it is related to your thinking. Cognition basically means your thinking. So when I say cognitive symptoms, it is in relation to your thinking. So what happens? Racing thoughts keep coming. You get continuous negative thoughts. Things are not going to work for me. I am forgetting everything. I have not finished. You will never get thoughts about how much you have finished. Your thoughts are always about, I have not finished this, I have not finished that. Self comparison to others. She's been studying. She already told me that she has revised once. I've been uselessly wasting time all over the lockdown period. They have all been doing something. They have been attending sessions. I have not attended sessions, etc. Difficulty in concentrating. You get so anxious that even if you sit and you're trying to study, you're not able to focus on your academics. You have a lot of difficulty in concentrating. Blanking out during examination. Even if you have studied well, once you reach the examination hall, you sit and you start thinking of the answer, there's a blackout or a blank out wherein you're unable to remember anything, and you start having frequent negative thoughts about past performances. That is one of those exams probably you have not got good marks, but you continuously keep thinking about the same thing. There are continuous negative thoughts about past performances. So this is with regard to symptoms in relation to your thinking or thought. The second one is emotional symptoms. That is symptoms in relation to your feelings. I read a lot of emotional symptoms when you had posted your queries or when you had posted your expectations.
Shweta madam, we cannot hear you. Shweta madam. Dear students, please wait. I think there is some technical error with regard to our speaker. She will join again. Shweta madam, rejoin again. My dear students, a small technical error has happened with regard to Shweta ma'am's office there. Let us wait. Are you all there with us? Can you all hear me? Yes, Shweta ma'am is back.
Yeah, am I audible?
Yes, madam, you are
Yes.
audible.
So
Welcome
you
back.
will have to slightly adjust with me without the PPT for some time.
No
That's
problem.
okay. Okay. I explain to you the issues. Okay. So we were discussing basically about the emotional symptoms. So when I say emotional symptoms, it is basically, I read a lot of your emotional symptoms when you kept sending me the expectations of the workshop. There is fear. You get very angry when anybody who is talking to you, you start feeling very, very helpless. There's a lot of guilt, there is shame, and there is disappointment. And then there are physical symptoms, which you told. Now, physical symptoms are how basically your body tells you that you are anxious. How does your body tell you? For a few people, there is vomiting sensation. A few people, there's racing heart. A lot of you told me that your heart beats, really fast. There's somebody who told that you start sweating a lot. There is shortness of breath. There is headache. There is dizziness. There is dry mouth. There are tense muscles and things like that. So most of these, so if you have to divide the symptoms of exam anxiety, you can group it into cognitive symptoms, emotional symptoms, and physical symptoms. Now these symptoms basically tell you what exactly is happening to you. They actually try and tell you what is going wrong with you. Where are things going wrong? This is what, how. So these symptoms basically tell you, these symptoms are actually indicators that something is going wrong. That is how your body indicates to you that things are not working fine for you. Okay. Now, what are some of the factors that contribute to exam anxiety? What is it that leads to exam anxiety? Okay, we'll discuss a few factors. If you feel other than that there are other factors, you can tell me. The first and the most important thing that all of us need to remember is 90% of the time, it is not about the marks that we are bothered. Okay, many of us are not actually worried or bothered about the marks, but it is actually about the fear of social evaluation. That is, what will others think if I lose marks? What are the other people going to think if I get less marks? It is so 99% of the times it is fear of social evaluation. How many of you agree with me? More than the marks, you are worried about what the teacher will think, what my friends will think. So 99% of the times it is the fear of social. So more than the examination, what you are worried about is about the feedback that you get. So the first thing that happens is fear of social evaluation. The second important reason is inadequate preparation. That is, you have not prepared enough. You have not prepared enough what is required for the examination. You have so many chapters, you have to make so much notes, you have to finish so much syllabus. All these are that you know. But unfortunately, what happens is you are not prepared enough. There is inadequate preparation. You are not prepared enough to meet this. The third one is negative attribution to subjects. Okay, when I say negative attribution to subjects, what I tell you is we all carry a few ideas. Like, for example, math is difficult, science is difficult, or economics is difficult. So we have a negative attribution. This subject is not good, or not only difficult, this subject is boring, this is too tiring to study this subject, etc., etc. So what happens is, automatically when you start carrying these negative thoughts with you, many times it affects our studies. So the more negative attitudes we carry about the subject, the teacher who is teaching that subject, then that has a lot of impact on our efforts or our attempts to study that subject. So automatically what happens, when that subject comes, there is lack of preparation and there is a lot of associated anxiety. How many of you agree with me? Yeah, when you have the, generally you don't do well in subjects you will get a lot of places. So many of you agree with me. Then Another reason is past history of not doing well. That is, there has been one time that you have not done in a particular paper. So every time you are going to appear that examination, every time you see that examination, you start getting very scared about it. You are very worried about it. So every time that examination is there, like for example, in one of your accounts paper or one of the tests of your class test, you have not done well in a particular subject. So what you keep on doing is every time you have that particular subject, every time that you have to do that particular subject, you have this difficulty. The next one is negative thought rumination. When I say negative thought rumination is whenever you have to prepare for your examination, you keep telling yourself, you give a lot of negative affirmations to yourself. Now, what negative affirmations? I'll not do well. This exam is going to be a mess. I am not, even if I have studied only the things which I have not studied will be the ones which come. Okay, I'll give you, see, let me tell you, this is what I'm trying to tell you from research or from science, that whatever we speak or our affirmations, whatever the instructions we give to our brain, it has a lot of influence on our brain. Our brain is very, very powerful. Okay, so whatever instructions we give our brain takes it very well. So our brain receives these instructions really well. I give you one of these examples. Okay, you would have seen that when there's little children, small children at home, when they take a glass mug or when they take something made of glass and they're trying to take it, most of these elders tell, don't do it, you'll put it down. Okay, so then you're giving a feedback to the child that you are going to put it down. And that time what starts happening? Automatically the child will put. Now, one such experience of mine, I will tell you also. Okay, see, I have been riding a two-wheeler from the time I am in my second PUC. So I know to ride my two-wheeler right from there. Okay, then after I finished my MSc, I got my job. My first teaching profession was in St. Agnes itself in the PG department of psychology. So I got my job, and when you join college, it is mandatory that you wear sari for reaching, or you wear sari for your job. So what happened is that day for the first time, the instance is I have to wear my sari and I have to come for my work. Okay. So I'm a very confident rider otherwise. So then my father kept telling me that be careful with the sari, you will fall down. Then he said that he would accompany me. Since it's the first day, he said he will come with me, and he's sitting behind me in the vehicle. And every time that I'm going, I'm turning, I'm cutting, he's like, be careful, sorry, you'll fall down, you'll fall down, you'll fall down. And so much so this instruction kept coming to me that ultimately I fell down. And on the first day of college, I was late. Okay, so this is how strong a negative affirmation is. This is how strong a negative affirmation can work for us. Okay, so this is how a negative affirmation can have an impact. The next one is setting up. How many of you agree? What are some of the negative affirmations? Okay, what are some of the negative affirmations you all get during examinations? What are some of those negative thoughts all of you get during examinations? Please tell me. Let me see. Okay, so Kirtana says that I keep feeling that I'm going to fail in my examination. Okay, then Sandra says I might forget what I have learned. Okay, then I didn't study something. I feel the same question. I have not studied something, so time and again I will feel that the same question is going to come for the exam. Okay, what if I forget what I have studied? Okay, forgetting the answers, fear of failing. Okay, then so you tell me specific. Okay, Apeksha, she says, she keeps telling herself that the paper will be difficult, So even if she sees it easy, she has continuously told herself that the paper is going to be difficult. Okay. Final says that I keep remembering what I have not studied. Okay, that is a possibility. Some say that if you in the beginning, then you will forget all the answers. I'm asking you, what are the thoughts that you get? Okay, that I am going to fail even before the exam starts. So even before the examination starts, you get this feeling that I am going to fail. Okay. Okay, even if I prepared really well, even if I know everything, during the examination, there is some kind of, there are butterflies in my stomach during the examination. Just saying I get only 30. So whatever I have prepared, I am going to get only 30% of the marks. Okay. Okay, this is something very common in most of the students. That is, the matter, the content that I have not studied, only that content is going to come. Okay, so all of you have understood what negative affirmations are. Okay, the next one, or the next causal factor, is setting unrealistic expectations. When I say setting unrealistic expectations, it means that, see, sometimes what happens is, you know what you have studied, one, you know how much you can score in that paper, two, but still you start expecting a lot out of it. Like, for example, see, I know that in psychology, or I know that in English, the maximum I can get, on a language paper is so much. Okay, but still I keep expecting. I still feel that I should get great marks, and I expect 95 in a language paper, or 99 or 100 in a language. It is impossible. It is impossible. This is what I mean when I say unrealistic expectation.
Yeah. So my power is back.
My power is back.
You all can hear me?
You all can hear me?
Yes, madam. Yes.
Okay. Yes, both my cameras are simultaneously. That means you all can see me twice and hear me twice. Okay. So now I think there's no double voice. Now?
Yes,
Fine?
madam. Fine. Fine. Continue, madam.
Okay. So that is unrealistic expectations. That is, you already know, what is your best, you know how much you can score.
Madam, double voice is coming. Double voice. I
Just
think
a
you have to mute your phone.
Yeah. Okay, so you know how much you have prepared, you know how much you have studied, you know what is the maximum possible marks for that particular subject, but still you feel that you should get better. You feel that, I should get 95 or I should get 99 or all of these things. This is what called as having unrealistic, setting unrealistic expectations about yourselves. Now you all can see the slides.
Yes, madam.
Okay.
Make it full
So
screen.
that is
Share it full screen. Make it full screen. Madam,
next one is poor self-management. Poor self-management. When I say poor self-management, there are a few of us, okay, during examination. How many of you don't sleep properly at least 2-3 days before the examination? You sit and study all through the night. There's a big number. Okay, so this is poor self-management. You don't eat properly, you don't sleep properly, you don't look after yourselves properly. See, all of you need to remember that examination requires a lot of effort. Okay, so your body and brain needs to be very much prepared to write the examination. But many of us, what we do is we have poor self-management. That is 2-3 months we will continuously have a gala time, and when it's examination, suddenly we will stop sleeping, we'll sit all through the night, we won't eat on time, and then end up eating junk food because eating junk food makes us feel good, etc., etc. So that also can contribute to exam anxiety, because if your physical functioning is inadequate, then you cannot perform in your examination. If your body does not cooperate, it is very difficult to perform well in the examination. The last one is circumstantial factors. Circumstantial factors that cause exam anxiety could be like, you're not keeping well that day, or some bad event has happened at home, or some other circumstantial event could be that, I lost my book for examinations, I missed some important syllabus and I have not studied this. So all of these are circumstantial factors that contribute to exam anxiety. Akshata, see, you say that you eat more during examination. See, what basically happens is whenever there is exam anxiety, our body's functioning, there is a difference. Okay, there is something called as an arousal which happens in the body. So different people's bodies respond to different ways during the arousal. Okay, so that is why some people feel more hungry, some people feel less hungry, some people eat less, some people feel very sleepy, some people don't feel sleepy at all. That is because the different ways in which our body responds to stress. So these are the causes of exam anxiety. This is what exactly contributes to exam anxiety. Now, something very, very important is lockdown and exam anxiety. Okay, now this is something very, very important. And I think when they set up the conference, this is one of the most, or they set up the webinar, this is one of the things that has been in mind. That is lockdown and exam anxiety. Now, why is exam anxiety getting slightly higher, especially during the lockdown? One is major lifestyle changes. See, all of us had a major lifestyle. Now everything is changed. Half of the time we are on the phone, either for recreation or for learning. We are sleeping most of the time. It's only lot of leisure. So half of the time we are just changed the whole way in which we are functioning. So there are major lifestyle changes. Two, there is a lot of uncertainty. We do not know. Like, for example, once they said the college will start in June, then they said July. Yesterday, they said August 15. So there is a lot of uncertainty. There is a lot of uncertainty which is causing a lot of anxiety, which is contributing to exam anxiety. Disintegrated routine. See, earlier it was fixed. You will get up at this time, you will go to college at this time. Even at college, first hour is this, second hour is this, third hour is this, then we have a lunch break. So it was a structured routine. So your body and mind was very, very much prepared for the structured routine. So now suddenly what has happened is the entire routine is broken up. There is no routine at all. You have a highly disintegrated routine. Routine. So because of the disintegrated routine, your stress levels increase, your anxiety increases. There is a lot of boredom because you are not doing what you are supposed to do, one, and then you do not know what to do. So that is why there is a lot of boredom that is there during the lockdown period. The next one is newer trends in education. See, unlike earlier, now more of online classes are there, no going and sitting in college, all of this. So these are newer trends. So now we'll have to move a lot to newer trends of education. We do not know if education system or teaching methods will be the same anymore. So a lot of newer trends in education is there, which is again contributing to a lot of anxiety. And then lack of structure and academic supervision. There were teachers who were guiding us. Our assignments had to be on time. If we had doubts, it was easy to go to them and check. Now that structure and academic supervision is not there. So that is one more reason why it is contributing to anxiety. And disappointment with outcomes. Anything that the government tells us, we are disappointed with it. They say final years have exams, first year, second year, there is no exam, then final years are disappointed. And they say online exams, then also you are disappointed. So whatever happens, because of the anxiety that is prevailing, anything that is told, we are anxious. Any decision that comes, we are anxious. We are just not able to take any decision that comes. So there's a lot of disappointment with any outcome that is given to us. So these are some of the factors what contribute to exam anxiety basically during this lockdown phase. The most important one, management of exam anxiety. How is it that we are going to manage the exam anxiety that we have? First one, you have to set up realistic goals. Okay, now when I say realistic goals, the first question I would want to ask all of you, and I want each of you to answer, is why is it that you are studying? Okay, why is it that you have enrolled for a particular course, and why is it that you all are studying? Can I get a few responses? I want you all to define the purpose of your study. Okay, my mother says, clear the examination to gain more knowledge, to get educated. Okay, what is the end result of education? No backlogs, gain knowledge. Okay, so many of you, from the responses that are coming, you are still trying to clarify why is it that I am getting educated. So the first thing in working out with anxiety is to set up realistic goals. Right from today, start thinking with this academics, with its studies, where am I going to go? It is not about getting 90%. It is not about having 100% attendance. It is not about completing a BCom or NCom or a BSc or an MSc. It is about, with the BSc or MSc, what am I ultimately going to do in life? That will help you determine better. Like, for example, yesterday I saw a few chats which discussed, even if there is no exams, why are you taking online classes? The purpose of class is not examination. Examination is just a feedback for you as to how much you have understood. That is the purpose which exam serves. Exam is not to test you. Unfortunately, what happens is we all think that examination is to test you. No, examination is not for teachers. Examination is not for college. Examination is basically to give you a feedback of how much of the learning have you picked up, how much of the learning has gone into you, how much of what you have learned are you able to apply in real life. That is what exactly examination means. So what you need to basically do is set realistic goals. It is not that, why am I going to college? In degree, I need to get first rank. That is not a realistic goal. I need to pass with distinction. That is not a realistic goal. What are you going to do with that distinction? Where are you aiming life at with that distinction? That is what you need to sit and figure out. That is why the first thing that you need to do management is to define the purpose of your studies. What am I going to do with academics? And then set your goal. This is the first thing. And then when I said realistic goals, we need to discuss these realistic goals in later details. Okay, Kaveshri says that there will be a bias between a person who gets more marks and a person who gets less marks. Kaveshri, what I would basically say that if you have identified your subject properly, if you have made a choice based on what you want to do, the possibility of getting less scores because you are not able to study that subject or the subject is difficult for you is very less. As long as you have good aptitude and interest for that subject, you will really get good marks. And the second thing what I would like to say is that the current market, more than your marks, looks at how good are your skills. The market has good demand for people who have good skills. So as long as your skills are good, you can definitely use it in the best of your ways. Okay, so when we say realistic goals, we'll have to discuss a little more in great detail about timetable, study setup, and things like that. Okay, now step 1, timetable. How many of you have a timetable? Every January 1st, we make a New Year resolution that I will have a timetable. I will study that day syllabus, that day itself. How many of you have a timetable? Okay. How many of you follow the timetable? All of us have a timetable. How many of you have been able to stick to this timetable and follow timetables? Not even one day. We make, but we never stick to it. Not at all. Okay, so we have a timetable. Okay, so generally what happens is January 1st, we make the timetable. By January 5th or maximum by January 10th, the timetable is already in the dustbin. Now, why does this happen? Or I'll tell you a few things on how to make your timetable. See, remember, first thing is that when you make timetable, you should never do. Most of the times what happens is the kind of timetables we make are all Hitler timetables. How is this timetable? Only to see that timetable, on seeing that timetable looks very fascinating and disciplined, but very difficult to follow. It will be 5 to 5:30, get up, brush, bathe, etc. 5:30 6:30 psychology, 6:30 to 7:30 history, 7:30 to 8:30 get ready to college, 9 o'clock college, 9 to 4 college, 4 to 5 come back from college, freshen up, wash your face, 5 to 6 assignment, 6 to 7 English. How many of your timetables have been like this? Yes. Yes, so most of the times it is Hitler timetables we make. Okay, and these are not going to work. See, just like how you continuously use your mobile and you keep it for charging, then similarly, your body also needs a recharge. It cannot function like the way you tell. So that is one reason why your timetables don't work. Second reason why our timetables won't work is that, see, we all need to realize that we are all like, see, maybe you all are all between your 17 or you are all between your 18 and your 20s, early 20s. Okay. Now, 18 years of our life or 19 years of our life, we have never been on a timetable. Our body was totally traveling on a different route. Now, suddenly you have set up a timetable. Okay, you have set up a timetable. So, for your brain to understand that, okay, there is a timetable and okay, there is a structure, it takes some time. Now, how much is this time? At least 40 days for you to form a habit. So, at the end of 1 week, even if you're following 5% of the timetable, that's actually very, very good. And that's absolutely amazing. Even if it's just 5%, because you have never been on a structured way of functioning. Okay. So, why it doesn't work is because your body is taking time to understand that something new has come in. Your body has to get habituated to the new thing. So, it will definitely take time. So, these are two reasons why our timetables don't work. So, your next question then is, then how is it that we need to make a timetable? Okay. One, make your timetable more realistic. Two, have two separate timetables for your working days and for your holidays. The timetable that you had for college will not work for the study holidays. So have separate timetable. Whenever you make a study timetable, see to it that after 40 minutes, you have, there is something called as attention span. How long you can concentrate or how long you can attend to. Okay, so am I audible? I think there is one person who is telling that I'm not audible. I'm audible. Okay. So the first thing is that our attention span between our age group, that is between 18 to 25 years of this age group, we can attend or we can concentrate for around 40 to 45 minutes. That is why even in college, if you see your classes, it is 1 hour. 1 hour meaning your teacher comes, settles down, starts, and then finishes and concludes. So your learning time or your attention span at this age is 45 minutes. So whenever you keep a timetable, keep a study hour of 45 minutes. After 45 minutes, okay, what about people? See, from 13 years, from 15 years and above, your attention span is about 40 minutes. Below that, it is lesser. Okay. Okay. So when you plan 40 minutes and a 12 to 15 or a 10 to 12 minute break. So after every 40 minutes, you need to give a 10 to 12 minute break. Okay, so this is 1. 2, whenever you plan, you need to see to it that there is a balance in the brain. So whenever you plan your subjects, plan it accordingly. That is, pair one easy subject with one difficult subject. For example, for me, psychology was very easy, but history was a little difficult. So I used to have first 40 minutes, if I've done history, then I would do either psychology or I would do a language, so that it is a lighter one and I am not much stressed. So whenever you put in subjects, see to it that you put an easier subject with a difficult subject, so that there is a balance. This is second tip, or this is the second thing that you need to remember. 3, what are you going to do between the breaks? You are given 40 minutes and then you are giving a 10 to 12 minutes break. So whenever you are giving a 10 to 12 minutes break, what you need to basically do is either you will have to sleep off, just lie down, or listen to good music. Playing on the phone or gaming or watching social media or watching TV, etc., is not break. That time your brain is not getting rest. When I say rest, your brain requires rest, because when you're seeing Facebook, again you're putting in effort, you're thinking about something. So either sleeping, listening to good music, or going for a walk are good forms of the break. So whatever you have learned, that stresses down. Now what happens if you read continuously the same subject is that your brain gets drained. Or even one possibility is that even if you're studying the same thing subject, if you want to study it like that, you can pick a new subject, and that is something that you have already revised and something that you are yet to start studying, so that whatever you have already learned, it is a little lighter for you, and the new learning is a little heavier for you. Okay, so this is about timetable, how to set the timetable. 1, 40 minutes, 10 to 12 minutes break. Whenever you give a break, see to it that you're either lying down, walking, or listening to good music. Pair difficult subjects with easier subjects, so that you remember, or so that you are light on your brain. So these things you need. And also the most important thing, it is at least your brain takes at least 40 days for you to get acquainted to the new changes. So by the end of 10 days or 1 week, even if 10% or 5% of your timetable you are following, then it is really, really good. Okay. The next one is study setup. Okay. Where are you going to study? Okay. What is the first thought that comes to your mind when I tell the word kitchen? Food. Food. Okay. What is the first word that comes to you when I, first thought that comes to you when I tell bed? Sleep. Okay. So now the minute I say kitchen, you think of food, and some of you are craving for food right now, isn't it? So why I'm asking you this is that, see, our brain makes amazing associations and instructions based on its previous experiences. So when I say study setup also, what I mean to say is that every time, see to it that you have a common place of studying and a common time for studying. Both of these are very, very important. When I say, now why is this important? See, for example, every day, see, one day you're sitting and studying on your bed, the second day you're on the your terrace, the third day you're in your friend's house, the fourth day you're sitting in the balcony, fifth day you're in front of the TV. Your brain takes a lot of time to figure out what exactly are you doing. Okay, it takes a lot of time. One day you're sitting there to study, the other day you're sleeping there. So the brain takes a lot of time to figure out what exactly is this person doing. So it takes a lot of time to pitch in and set an ambience for studies. But every day, if you sit in the same place, the minute you go sit in that place, now your brain knows, okay, now this person is sat here for studies. Now you don't have to have a study room or private space or something like that. Condition that, condition your brain that this is the place where I am going to sit to study. So every time you go and sit there, your brain automatically turns on to the study mode, because it knows that you are sitting in this place for studies. Point 1. Point 2, you should have a common time for studying. That is, every day, if you have kept 7 to 8 hours of studying, that means 7 o'clock to 8 for studying, keep it fixed every day. Don't keep changing it. Okay? Many of us have these tendencies. One day at 7 o'clock, we are watching serial. The other day at 7 o'clock, we are writing assignment. The third day on 7 o'clock, we have gone to city center, or we are eating pani puri. It doesn't work. Set one common time so that the brain also is prepared. Okay, 7 o'clock. So 7 o'clock means this one will come and sit for study. So when your brain cooperates with you, you can perform much better. But unfortunately, what happens is we don't set the schedule. So the brain does not know what you're going to do at what point of time. Okay, so study setup. 3, whenever you're sitting for studies, as I told you, 40 minutes you can concentrate. So that 40 minutes are amazing time. Those 40 minutes is like your full attention. So whenever you sit for your study, see to it that you have carried whatever you have wanted for studies. If it's calculator, water, guide, textbook, anything. So you please see to it that you have enough material. You have done enough preparation to study. 4, see to it that there are no distractions in your study setup. When I say no distractions in your study setup, that means that your mobile is on silent, your mobile is not in front of you. You're not sitting in a place where people are walking by, or in a place where the TV might get on anytime. So see to it that your study setup is adequate. Third one, preparation for your examination or preparation for studies. How do you prepare for studies? See, a lot of times all of us have this idea. Now, what do we do is that whatever is easy, we study first. And whatever is difficult, we keep it to the dead end. Whatever is difficult, we keep it to the last minute. How many of us do this? The easier ones we do first, and the difficult ones we keep it to the dead end. And has this worked? We do this. Okay. For how many of you this has worked? No. Isn't it? It doesn't work. Now, for any of you it has worked. It has worked not in the form of learning, but working is just that, you have vomited out whatever last minute memory has come out. That's all. See, it doesn't work. See, it's very simple. If you are not able to study it when you are in a relaxed state, as exams near, you are in more intense state. Then how are you going to remember it when you are tensed? Last minute, it is not going to happen. So whenever you prepare for your examination, point 1, always see to it that whatever is difficult, you pick it first to study. Whatever is easier, you keep it later, because that doesn't require a lot of effort. So even if you are a little stressed, you will be able to look through that. That is the first thing. Second thing, whenever you are preparing for your examination, see to it that you make sub points or you make small notes, so that right before the examination, you will not look through the whole textbook or notebook, because the minute you look through the whole textbook or notebook, what happens? It really looks a lot. So when it really looks a lot, it becomes very stressful for you. But if you have a small, paper on which you have a small point book wherein you have written the main points, etc., then it becomes much easier for you, because it looks so small. And when it looks so small and compact, it relieves you much better. Fourth thing, it is very important for each of us to identify our learning style. See, when I say learning style, here there are 2 things that I want to tell. One is, there were a few people who asked me, or I saw on the questions or queries that you have raised, that I can study only at night, I cannot get up in the morning. That is okay. Identify how well your body gets acquainted to. It is purely personal. Like, for example, I am this person who works more at night. Okay. In the daytime, I do not know if I can work well. And if I remember, and if I'm correct, our coordinator, Devi Prabha ma'am, is also like that. She's more of a nighttime worker, because I see her to work amazingly during, because most of the times, I see her, she's very active, and most of her best things have come out when, during that time. So that is how each of us work. That is purely our physiology. So just because my friend is getting up in the morning at 4 o'clock and studying, it might not work for me. So first of all, find out when your body is very, very cooperative. It's okay. For some of us, it is night. For some of us, it is during the day. No fine. Second, the way you are studying. See, there are some people for whom we need to read aloud, who are visual learners. Visual learners meaning, when you see you remember better. So people who are visual learners, what you can do is, while writing main headings, side headings, sub points and all, you use different colors and write it. So because you are visual, your brain will form an imagery of these colored pages in your brain. So when you write for the exam, you are able to visualize this color code that was there. A few of us are auditory learners. I am an auditory learner. That is, if I have to learn, somebody has to. When somebody explains it to me, I learn it easier, or I have to tell it aloud. I have to read aloud. When I read aloud, what happens? Once I'm reading it and seeing it, once again, I'm hearing it and again listening to it. So identify what kind of learner you are. Are you a visual learner? Are you an auditory learner? Or is it a mixed kind? So that helps to plan your studies better. Some of you are both visual and auditory. There are a few people who are both visual and auditory. So that you accordingly you can make use of. Some of us are mixed. Both of us, there are a few people who are both visual learners as well as auditory learners. That is okay. That is absolutely not an issue if you are both visual and writing and learning is visual learner, and writing and learning is also tactile. That is, your body needs to move. There are a few people who are tactile learners. That is, we cannot sit simply and study. We'll keep fidgeting something or writing, making notes. Those are tactile learners. Step 5. Whenever you're studying, you need to plan your leisures and breaks properly. Now, why do you require a leisure or break? You basically require a leisure or break because whatever you have studied, that needs to consolidate or that needs to settle down in your brain. That is why you need leisure or break. As I told you earlier, whenever you plan leisure or break, it needs to be proportionate to your study time. You cannot have a 40-minute study time and a 40-minute leisure. It doesn't work. So you have a 40-minute study time, a 10 to 12 minute of a leisure break. And whenever you have a leisure break, you either sleep, walk, or listen to music. You have to always remember that leisure breaks are very, very important. Your body needs rest. Your brain needs rest. So I will sit continuously for 1 hour and study. I'll continuously sit for 2.5 hours and study. Doesn't work. Your body needs. You might be sitting in front of the book, but how much of it is going in effectively? I doubt. So plan your leisures and breaks appropriately. Step 6, reward yourselves. Now you have set a goal. By this time, I should finish studying so much. When you are setting up the goal, also be realistic. In one day, you cannot finish 6 chapters. So I cannot tell that, okay, after psychology, I have 2 days, then I have history. So in 2 days, I will complete all the 24 chapters of history. No. First, set realistic goals, and whenever you have completed the goal, whenever you have reached the goal, what you can do is you can reward yourselves. You have to reward yourselves. Now, what you can reward yourselves, you can have a cup of ice cream, or you can eat some food or chocolate that you like a lot, and then reward yourselves. So one thing that what I used to do is I used to make a checklist. Okay, that is for that particular day, how much I need to finish or follow. So as and when I finish something on the checklist, I used to tick it. So when I ticked it, I used to feel good. Okay, so much is over. Now so much remains, so much remains, so much remains. So, and when the checklist was complete, that is, I have tick marks on all that I have completed, I used to reward myself. So reward yourself. So your brain feels very good when you get rewarded. So when you have set up a schedule and you have planned and worked according to your schedule, don't forget to reward yourselves, because you've been good enough. You have put a lot of effort on yourselves, and that effort needs a little recognition. So please reward yourselves when you have done justice to yourself. Second thing is, we did discuss a great deal on negative thoughts. That is, whenever there is examination, there are a lot of negative thoughts that come in. There was a lot of negative thoughts that set in. So we need to set up, or we need to have a strategy to manage our negative thoughts. How are we going to manage our negative thoughts? One, identify the source of negative thought content. Find out what is that thought that is distracting you. Is it about performance during examination, or is it a personal stressor, or what is it that is troubling you? Always don't sit and see. We have this tendency, I am getting angry, I am getting irritated, I am getting emotional, I feel like crying. These are all products of a negative thought. Okay, now all of these emotional responses are nothing but products of an emotional or a negative thought. So instead of sitting and worrying, I am getting angry, I am feeling sad, I am upset, sit and try and find out what is making you angry, what is making you upset, what is making you restless. And once you identify this, it becomes much easier for you to handle. So the first thing that you need to do to work on negative thoughts is to identify what is it that is making you negative, or what is contributing to the irritability. Second, track the frequency and intensity of the thoughts. How frequently are they coming? Do they come every day, or do they come just 2 days before the examination? Or from the time I have taken up this course, I have been carrying these negative thoughts with me. So check the frequency of the thought. Check how strong it is, the intensity of the thoughts. That is, the minute I sit to, the thoughts are so prevalent that the minute I sit to think about studies, I start crying. The minute I think, I get very scared, I have palpitations. So think, intensity mean how much it is effective. Check the impact of thoughts on your productivity. See, as I told you, negative thoughts are common for all of us. We all get it for some time and then it goes off. But you have to, if it is affecting you a lot, check how much it is affecting you. How much because of negative thoughts that you are not able to study for examinations, you are not able to do your work on time. So check how much these negative thoughts are impacting your productivity or your performance. 4, try distraction techniques. See what works well with you. What are some of the distraction techniques that each of you have? What are some of those things that makes you feel good, or makes you feel distracted of negative thoughts? Like for me, when I'm very stressed, when I go for a drive or when I ride on my two-wheeler, it makes me feel good. Okay, writing thought journals, very good. Then listening to music. Okay, a lot of people who listening, dance, talking to a friend, very good. Playing a sport, walking, watching something funny. Okay, so all of you know what different so make a note of 2-3 distraction techniques. What helps you get off the negative thought, and make use of those strategies to get off your negative thoughts. Okay, one strategy could be like what I suggest a few of these people is that whatever thought they are getting, I ask them to write it down, and after writing down, I ask them to tear it into small papers and put it out so it is ventilated. Or a few of them, they call their friend, just talk it out to somebody and they feel better. The next one is having a worry time. Okay, having a worry time. So whenever, every day you have a worry time, so that every day you, at a particular point, you sit and you just worry. You think, what is bothering me? What is making me anxious? Why is it that I sad? Have a worry time and think of all the negative thoughts that. So when you have a worry time, what happens is automatically there is a ventilation for all the negativity that is there in you. So whenever you have a worry time, there is a ventilation for all the negativity that is there in you. So always have some worry time each day, so that only during that specific time you sit and worry. Whenever you have time, question yourselves on ideas told by others. Check if your negative thoughts are influenced by ideas told by others. When ideas told by others can be that if you don't study for 9 hours a day, you are never going to finish this, you are going to be useless. If you don't have a distinction, you will never get a job. So are these things, are there thoughts or ideas that are told by others that is influencing you? So whenever you have time, you take the time to question yourselves. Somebody asked me, is it good to worry? When I say worry time, it means that, see, what happens is when you just deny the worry. You continually tell me that, you should not worry, and continuously, deny it. What you're just doing is to have a lot of emotional baggage within you. But when I say worry time, I say, than keeping emotional baggage with you, every day have some time wherein you ventilate it off. Now, in worry time, you can do it in different ways. There are some people who journal, who write it out, everything. Once they've written and they've thrown it, they're done. Their worry time is over. There are some people who sit and talk it out to a best friend or a family member or something like that. So worry time is basically that, so that you don't have emotional baggage with you. Worries come. Is it good to worries come? Even if it is good or bad, worries come, because that's the way our life is. Now, how we channelize these worries so that they don't influence our daily functioning is what is important. Okay, so this is how we need to work on our negative thoughts. We might feel upset, distressed, or anything whatsoever. Find out what is causing that feeling. Try distraction methods. Try worrying, worry time, and try checking and finding out that. Question yourselves on ideas told by others. Now they tell you that you are useless. So is it really am I useless? Why am I useless? What is it that I have done? Keep questioning yourselves based on those ideas, and you will get really amazing answers. Something happens, like some situations, or sometimes someone tells something. Okay, that's what I said. Sit and take, when someone tells you something, whenever you're not studying, whenever you are free, sit and challenge yourselves based on what someone has told you. Okay, sit and challenge. Okay, this person has told me this, has told me that I am useless. Okay, so how much of evidence is there to prove that this is correct? How much of evidence is there to prove that this is wrong? Sit and think. You will get data. What we do is we do not go close to it. Okay, that person has told I am useless. Now he has told me I am useless. I receive that. Okay, I am useless. I take it from him and keep it with myself. What purpose is it serving? Yeah. Okay. Now, for example, I have a pen with me. I give it to you. If you take that pen is yours. Otherwise, that pen is still mine. This is exactly how emotional issues work also. That they throw a comment on you, sit and evaluate how valid that comment is on you. You will come to data. We are very scared to even analyze. When somebody says that, you are useless, you are even very scared to analyze. So you don't go close by also. Don't do that. Sit and analyze. Sit and find data enough and find out what is the data to support this view that I am useless, and what is the data that against that, this data. And always remember, there are always gray shades in life. Life can never be black or white. It is always gray. It is not always gray shade. So 100%, see, there's no chance that everybody will like you or everybody will hate you. No possibility. And there's no chance that, you can do everything. No, it's not possible, because you are a human being. You have your limitations. So life has a lot of gray shades. Okay, so you might be very good. I'll tell you frankly. So I was very good in psychology. I was good in all subjects other than maths. I was really good in a lot of subjects other than maths. So there are gray shades. Okay, so just because I'm not good in maths doesn't mean that that's the end of everything. So there are gray shades. Learn to accept gray shades. We have this, we need to be good at everything. Everybody has to like us. Everything that we do should be proper. Not possible. That's impossible at all. So there are always gray shades in life. Stop comparing. Okay, some people want a 5-minute break. Do we give that, Devi Prabha ma'am?
Yes, madam. Tell me.
Ma'am, 1 or 2 have asked for a break. Do we give a 5-minute break?
No. This is not possible.
At a stretcher? Okay. So I'll give you a small activity. Those who sit late at night and study are real achievers. No, I told you, no. It is purely physiological. There are people who have, worked in the morning and also have achieved. It is purely your body. You need to understand what suits your body well and respond accordingly. Okay. Now I'll give you a small activity. Each of you have to write for me 4 things you are good at and 4 things you are bad at. Okay, each of you have to write for me 4 things you are good at and 4 things you are bad at. Clara, I pick your doubt that if I don't like a subject, how do I start liking it? I will answer this query. So 4 things you are good at, 4 things you are bad at. A very difficult task? Okay, I am good at taking class. I am good at child therapy. I am good at making friends. I am good at riding. I am bad at making calculations. I am bad at cooking. What else am I bad at? I am bad at. Okay, people are responding. Sleeping. Yeah, I am also very good at sleeping. Good at. Okay. Okay, I'm bad at making. What was easier to write, good or bad? What was easy? Finding out the good was easy or finding out the bad was easy? Bad, 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 bad. Okay, there are a few good, but lot of bads. Why? See how much we tune ourselves to negativity, because we are so much focused on what we don't have than what we have. This is what happens in exams also. I have studied 90% of the syllabus, but I sit and break my head on the 10% which I have not studied. Yes. So coming back, another important thing that you need to do is to stop comparison. Comparison in terms of comparison between self and comparison between one another. When I say comparison of self, that last time I have got so much, so this time I should get at least this much. No, last time's syllabus was different. Last time your exams goals were different. Last time your targets were different. This time your syllabus is different. This time your goals are different. This time your target is different. So there is no point in making a comparison between my last test and this test. Your only purpose is I give my best each time that I do. So comparing yourselves from last time to this time doesn't make any meaning at all. 2, comparing yourselves with others. I compare myself with my friend. She is doing well. She is there. She studies well. In spite of not having notes also, or in spite of having an illness also, she performs well. No. Her genetics, her study skills, her aptitude, her home environment, her understanding of the subject, her interest in the subject, all of these factors are very, very different from your factors. So there is no point in comparing both of these. Lot of people ask how to stop parents from comparing, but just tell them, see, I will perform best of my abilities. You don't have to compare. A few people have told me that hits you hard because you take it. So whenever you have time, sit and search evidence enough. We won't compare ourselves, parents. See, what happens is, for parents, comparison is a form of motivation. They feel that if they tell you that, you will start performing better. So even if they're trying to do that, they're doing it only for their well-being, not they want to make you feel bad. They say that, when we say, don't we say small children, see, he's a good boy, you also be a good boy. See, he's so good, what are you like this? What do? We feel that, that will motivate this child. So even if they're doing it, please remember that they're doing it not because they don't like or love us. They just feel that that can help as a motivation for you to raise better. If you don't like it, all of you are grown up now, you can tell that whenever you tell that I feel stressed, so please do not tell about it, I'll see how best I can do. We don't talk to our parents. We have to open this line of communication and tell them that you tell it like this, I truly understand that you're telling it to me so that I study better, but unfortunately that is pitching in a lot of anxiety in me. So I think we should not talk about comparing my performance to others. Okay, so stop comparison. Next, the most important thing is self-care: eating, sleeping, rest, hobbies, and exercise. See, all of us need to remember that whatever your body requires, that much you need to eat. 6 to 8 hours of sleep is very much required for us. So every day we need to have 6 to 8 hours of sleep. We need to have a lot of rest. Our body needs a lot of rest because it is continuously working. Even if it is not physical working, cognitively, mentally, we are doing a lot of work. We have to study, we are remembering, we are making notes. So you need to do some justice to your body, which is cooperating with you. So a lot of rest. Have a slot of your hobbies. See, what happens is whenever you have your set of hobbies, they enhance your creativity. They set a balance your physiological system. See, what happens is whenever you are anxious, your body shoots up in anxiety. That is, your body starts overworking during anxiety. So when you have hobbies, there is recreation, and recreation relaxes your body. So whatever course you're doing, even if you're doing your CA, even if you're doing your PhD, even if you're doing second PUC, whatever it is, see to it that you have some time for your hobbies. That is very, very important. Exercise is very, very important. As I told you, to channelize the physiological functioning, to set a balance in your physiological functioning. See, our body and mind are very closely related. Mind and body work hand in hand. So if you have to keep your mind in a stable state, then definitely you'll have to keep your body also fine. So a little bit of exercise every day in any form. It can be walking, running, swimming, anything that you like. A little bit of exercise is definitely going to help you. Third thing, that all of us need to develop a set of relaxation strategies that help us. Every day, spend some time on a few relaxation strategies. Again, what relaxation strategy differs from person to person. For example, for a few of us, music might be relaxing. For a few of us, it is not relaxing. For a few of us, pranayama might be relaxing. For a few of us, it is not relaxing. So each of you identify what is the relaxation strategy for you. It can be yoga, it can be meditation, it can be listening to music, it can be the laughing club. So please identify what is the relaxation strategy for you, and then try to adopt it in your daily life. Try to use it in your daily life. That becomes very, very important. For example, for me, relaxation strategies are deep breathing exercises give me a lot of relaxation. So I try to see to it that every day, or at least when I'm stressed, I sit in my chair and I do that. So like that, each of you would have your own relaxation strategy. So try to find out what is it that relaxes you and follow it accordingly. Okay. Another thing you need to do is to stop seeking reassurances. Now we will discuss phase wise. Okay, what you need to do before the exam. So now what we'll discuss, what we need to do before the exam, what we need to do during the examination, and what we need to do after the examination. So each of these we will discuss in detail. The first one is before the examination. Stop seeking reassurances. Don't go ask your friends and people 1,000 times, I'll get good marks, no, I'll do well, no. They do not know. Only you know it, because you know what you have to study, you know why you are studying, you know your goals. So when you constantly seek reassurance, you are continuously questioning your credibility and your ability. So stop seeking reassurances before your examination. Your examination is for you. it is giving you a feedback on how much you have understood. So you don't have to go around asking other people for certifications. Will I get good marks? They do not know. I'll study well? No, they do not know. Question paper will be easy? No, you also don't know, they also don't know. So stop seeking reassurance. 2, whenever exams are coming close by, don't keep a lot of new study material. Don't keep, at least when there is 2-3 days remaining for the examination, don't keep a lot of new material to read. That builds in a lot of anxiety along with the existing anxiety. See, exam anxiety is definitely there for all of us, but if you keep a lot of reading material, new material till the end, and if you push to the wall, that is, I'll not study at all, I'll keep everything till the dead end, I will do the last minute studying, that will definitely go bad on you. It will take a toll on you. So don't keep a lot of new study material very close to or just before the examination. 3, whenever exams are very near, okay, don't recheck your plans and your study methods. Like you have never done a kind of study, so you have never done group studies at all. Suddenly 2 days before the exam you decide to go for group study. Suddenly 2 days before the exam you start making notes, you start making a timetable. All of this will not work. So at least a week before the exam, 10 days before the exams, stop rechecking your plans and stop rechecking your study methods. Don't do it. If you're doing it, do much ahead, but last minute is absolutely a wrong time to do it. 4, identify what possibly distracts you and stay away from it. It can be anything. It can be a particular TV show. It can be a fight in the family. So you know what troubles you. Then see to it that you keep yourselves away from what is troubling you at least for a few days before the examination. Don't make any major changes in your lifestyle just before the examination. Okay. That means, including a major travel or, changing your sleep time, changing your eating time. All of these don't make during your examination, basically because any new change, your body has to take a lot of time to adjust to it. Now, already the body is in a tensed or an anxious state because of examination. So again, when you make these new wholesome changes to your body, it is difficult for your body to accept it. So don't make any major changes in your lifestyles a few days before examination. Excuse me. On the day of examination, see to it that you have eaten well, you have slept well. So much you have to do. Avoid discussing study details with your friends. You go, oh, did you finish that chapter, man? No, that part I have skipped off. Did you study this part? No, this I have skipped off. What about the other? Please don't do it. Okay, don't discuss your study plans or your study details with the friends on the day of examinations. Okay, don't do it at all. 3, at least an hour before the examination, please stop studying. Whatever, how much you have studied, that is enough. I've seen maybe in the college, Devi ma'am or other teachers also would have seen, even before entering the exam hall, they are turning the pages. They are turning their pages also. They are looking into the neighbor's book also. No, this is, inducing a lot more anxiety in you. So at least an hour before the examination, please stop studying everything and sit silently and relax. Okay, that is definitely, you try this out. It is definitely going to help you much, much better. Check on negative affirmation. Please see what's happening. Don't keep telling negative things. I have not revised. I will not remember. That part of the syllabus I have not studied. This part of it I have not studied. Don't do negative reaffirmations at all. Another form of negative reaffirmations, what we do is, your friend will ask you, hey, did you revise at least once? Even if you have revised, you will be like, no, I did not have time to revise. Then your brain will start questioning, but you did revise. So you're giving a negative self-affirmation to you. So that's why I always advise people who are writing exams, don't stop discussing your study plans, ideas with your friends. Check on negative affirmations, and at least an hour before the examination, stop studying and sleep it off. Plan your day well. Now, whenever you have to go for your examination, plan it really well. What time I have to go, which bus I have to be, what are the things I need to carry, what is the time that I'm going to get up after reaching what I plan it really well, so that you are not anxious. Okay, so that a day ahead, sit and plan. Okay, tomorrow I have exam. So when it is planned, when you have an agenda already, it's easier to work out. Okay, then till the last minute you're sitting and studying, and then the day morning you're like, hall ticket, no, don't do that. Plan it very well. Plan, from a month before only, that today is your exam. So that day you'll have to plan it really well. Don't catastrophize. That is about the exam or your future. Okay, this exam is gone. This exam is going to be difficult. Now, after this exam is going to be difficult, nothing is going to happen. So don't catastrophize or draw negative conclusions on the day of examination. Nothing is going to work. You have to write it, isn't it? Whatever is the situation, you have to write that examination. So catastrophizing it in any way doesn't help at all. During the examination day, 1, a little amount of anxiety is very, very, very common. It's very common. Okay, so don't worry about it. And it is that little amount of anxiety that actually helps you to perform better. All of us feel that even if you've studied really well, all of us during examination do feel that I am forgetting things. Oh, will I remember? All of these are common feelings. So you'll have to see to it that this normal anxiety is very, very common in all of us. 2, read the entire question paper first and then attempt the confident options first, whatever, because the minute you start brooding over things you do not know, automatically your confidence in what you know goes off. Slowly, because of the stress, you'll start losing on what you already know also. So always read the question paper first and attempt whatever you know, start attempting that first, finish it off first. 4, and the most important one, that is, if you feel that you're getting very anxious, you're not able to perform, that is, you're getting those host of symptoms really bad, you're having a blackout, you're shivering and things like that, then try a few techniques in the hall, like, close your eyes and start taking deep breaths, or recall a few good memories that you felt good about, or 3, give yourselves a lot of positive self-affirmations that whatever effort I have done the best of my possibility. So how much ever I can write, I will write. I am confident that I have prepared. This is just my anxiety. So try telling yourselves all of this. So these are the things that you need to follow during the examination. After the examination, please don't evaluate your performance. Okay, so based on this, I feel that I will get 75. I feel that I will get 80. No, please don't evaluate yourselves after performance, after your examination. Second one, stop discussing with others. What is the answer for this? Is it this? How did you do? Oh, then she'll say 80%. You have just thought 70. Then you'll get more anxious and you have another 5 exams. See, whatever it is, you have written your exams, you have given your paper. Nothing can be done about it. Agreed? There is nothing that you can do about it. Remember, it is done. Nothing at all can change it. So after the examination, there is no point in worrying about it. So stop discussing. Reward yourselves for completing the paper. Even if it was bad, even if it was good, you have put in effort for studying. You have put in effort to appear for that paper. So that effort needs to be recognized. Reward yourselves. It can be after going home, I'm doing an hour of TV time, or I'm eating from my favorite food joint outside, etc. So reward yourselves for completing the paper. After you're finished one exam, give a break before you start the next. Your brain needs to totally relax and come over from the earlier exam experience. So give yourselves a justified break, 2 or 3 or half a day break, 2-3 hours, half a day break, and then start fresh for your next. And whenever you start sitting for the next, don't think about what has happened previously. No use. I told you, no, it is done. Nothing can change. Now, if you can change and if you can think and change the answers you have written, then well and good. But unfortunately, there is no scope for that. Always remember, it is done. Nothing can change it. So this is what you need to remember. When? After the examination. This is also very, very important. Now comes, when do you seek professional help? When is it that I need to go consult a professional? When is it that I need to go speak out and ask for help? One, check frequency, intensity, and duration, that it is so severe, it is so bad that I'm just not able to sit and study. The minute I'm sitting to study, I am starting to cry. So that is the frequency, intensity, and duration. 2, check for impact on functioning and productivity. Because of my exam anxiety, even if I'm very good and I'm smart and I'm an average student, I have failed in my examination. My marks are dipping. I'm not able to make friends. I feel very low about myself. So check if it is affecting your productivity and functioning. That is throughout. Say once or twice you will feel low, you will get better. Okay. But if it is having a long-term impact on you. 3, checks for levels of distress. How much of distress are you facing? And what coping strategies you use? What are the relaxation strategies you use? What are the techniques that you are using? And check if they need to, those coping strategies are not working. How much ever of listening to music, how much ever of yoga, how much ever of relaxation, things are not getting better. So these are the situations I feel you should go and talk it out to a professional and seek help. So with so much, I have finished my presentation. If you all have any queries or doubts, you can ask. If you have any queries or doubts, you can ask.
Sabina, can you ask questions raised by the students in the YouTube streaming?
Yes, there are no questions on the YouTube streaming, but we'll wait for some time, and if
Yes,
there are
yes.
questions, I would, yeah.
Yes.
Students,
Okay.
those who want to ask, you can unmute yourself and ask questions.
There are a few questions on the chat box. Ma'am, for me, I know answers, but because of anxiety, I miss some questions. See, Sumaya, what you can do is, when you are sitting for the examination, after writing every question, reread the next question, recheck. So keep rechecking. So see, it's very nice. You know what is happening with you. So what you need to do is, you, after writing everything, have a recheck so that you don't miss answering questions. Okay. Mihika says, ma'am, I know I have a slight fear in me before the day of, but my mother says I'm not even, which even I feel is true, because I use phone or TV or read Facebook. I don't feel the need of study or fear of exams, even if I have a point of fear in me. Why am I so? She even found me using phone during study before the lockdown. In fact, I got a lot of. See, first thing, point number 1. Sometimes you are scared to study for the examination or exam, or facing examination in itself so fearful for you. So to escape from that fear, you rely on a phone or a book. There is a possibility. I don't want to get those thoughts of examination, so I'm sitting in front of my phone or TV. 1. 2, you are old enough, so you will have to sit and think about what you want than what your mother wants. Your mother will give you feedback, but you please sit and think on the feedback. You please sit and think on the feedback and work accordingly. See, let me all tell you, there is nobody who wants to score less marks, who wants to get scolded by the teacher, or who is not, who does not want to get low marks. Nobody. So if you are like that, there is definitely a reason for why is it happening. Try and find out what that reason is. Clara, what to do? See, if you don't like a subject, try and find out why is it that you don't like a subject. See, is it because it is boring or is difficult for me to understand? Try and find out what makes that subject not a liked subject by you. Start working on that. See, all of us may not like all the subjects because some subjects are harder for us to understand and things like that. So when you know, I don't like the subject, so I'll not study this. Is this better? Or I know that a few concepts in this are difficult for me, but whatever I can try and understand, I will sit and study that. So find out. So that is a better option. So first find out what makes that subject difficult or hard for you. The second is sometimes your attitude or idea about the teacher makes the subject difficult for you. That is also there. Like you don't like the teacher, so you don't like the subject. So that possibility is also there. So find out what exactly is working towards your hatred in the subject and then start working on it. Ma'am, my mind will be blank. I have gone through the same in 2 exams. See, whenever your mind is blank, what you need to do is just close your eyes, relax yourselves. I told you, you have studied. So whatever you have studied is definitely there for you. Whatever you have studied is definitely there in your mind. So relax, close your eyes, take deep breaths, or give yourselves few positive self-affirmations, and then slowly start answering. Now, once you slowly start answering, there are at least 1 or 2 questions that you are very confident about. Start with that. So once you have started doing that, then slowly you will start, getting more motivation and confidence. Then slowly you will be able to handle.
Madam, this is the question asked in the YouTube streaming by Priyanna Noilin. You had mentioned about setting a common time for studies, but there are cases where due to some commitments, I'm unable to study at the set time. What can be done?
See, exceptions are there always, but that is there. Like, for example, sometimes I have fallen sick. All that is there. But I'm talking about the major chunk of time. It's not that every day it is like this. 1 day in 30 days can be bad. That is an exception that, it's there every day. Okay. So that you don't have to worry about. My question is, I tend to lose the energy that I had on the first day of the exam as the exam proceeds. See, what happens is, one is, please follow the strategies I have told you. Please follow the strategies that I have told you on the last day of examination. So what have I told you? That, don't think about the previous. You tend to lose energy because you invest a lot of your energy necessary. You still invest a lot of your energy on subjects you have already finished. So give yourselves a break, practice relaxation, and do all of those strategies. Then that draining is not there. Sometimes we wake up with the mind to study, but as soon as we sit in front of the book, motivation goes away. How to stay motivated? 1, to stay motivated, see, if you feel that happens, start with studying what you like. So start with studying something what is easier for you. So that, initially you have a problem in beginning. So you want a strategy to help you to begin. So what you do is start with something which you are comfortable with you, that will motivate you. So that beginning is motivated, then automatically it will go forward. So what you do, pick a subject that you like, or pick something that is easier for you to study. Do something like that so that it will motivate you to start studying, and then you can pick on. Theory subjects are difficult. How to read theory subjects? See, theory subjects are very difficult because you don't make it compact. You have this idea of studying the whole thing. What you need to do is, whenever you are studying, make small notes or sub points. So whenever you make small notes or sub points, they seem to be more compact, easier. If you understand, every theory material has an introduction, it has a main content, and then it has a conclusion. So organize every topic like this. What is the introduction? What are the main headings in every subject? Now, it has 3 parts. The content will have 3 parts. Every part will have sub parts, and then it will have conclusion. So all your study material, you start organizing like this. Then when it is organized on the book, automatically it will get organized in your head also. Don't read the whole text every time. It builds in a lot of anxiety because there is a lot there. So make it very compact. Prepare points, use color coding techniques, then it will help you. A few things like, for example, if you have to remember a lot of dates or a particular definition, etc., what you can do is, you can write it down on a chart paper on really bold and stick it in a place where you see frequently. Like, for example, if you put it right beside your mirror, every time you're combing your hair, once you're reading it. So 1 revision. The more and more you revise, the more your memory for learnt material becomes stronger.
Okay, this is the question asked in YouTube, madam, from Safa Salim. What do I do when I see someone have extreme anxiety symptoms?
If you can help them, you can help them. Generally, see, there are 2 ways of it. There are people, like, if you really feel that they are very anxious, just ask them if they need help, And if they say that they need help, just talk to them. Sometimes just talking to them or listening to them makes a big difference. You can just ask them, how can I help you? And based on that, but if you're ready to help, most of what they need is a little bit of a support system and listening. That is what most of the people require when they are very anxious. Ma'am, I will become very sick during the examination. I told you your mind and body is closely related. So your sickness is just because of a lot of exam anxiety or stress that you have. So what you basically need to do is develop a nice, system wherein you keep your body healthy. Exercise, relaxation, and all those techniques I told. Work on negative thoughts during examinations and things like that. What are the strategies to revise the subject? See, what you need to do to revise the subject is whenever you study, make points. When you're revising, revise from the points that you have written than revising from the textbook. So these are basically things that you do. Other than that, as I told you, to revise, you can make notes and you can stick it on the wall. So even when you are just sitting simply or combing your hair or just sitting, it is there in front of you, you will read. So then there is a revision. Or you can just, pick up a discussion with one of your friends few days before, not previous day of the examination, few days before the examination on a topic that you have studied and have a discussion. All of these are strategies for revision. Sometimes I remember answer after I give my answer sheet. That is basically because of your anxiety. So that you need to work on. I can't by heart things, but some answer require. See, by heart, some answers require is the only things that require a by hearting would be a formula or a definition. Other than that, I think no other concepts. Is it a conceptualization of a formula or a definition which requires by hearting? Again, that need not be by hearted. Once you have understood, then it is definition. When you read it 2-3 times, when you give it continuous revisions, then you will remember. And the conceptualization and all, the more you work, you have a lot of visual memory of it when you continuously work it out. So you don't have to necessarily by heart. See, by hearting is not a right way of studying actually.
Ma'am, this is the question from Sakshi R on YouTube. Before the exam, I don't get proper sleep and I fear a lot during night. How can I overcome this?
See, this is basically before the exam. Basically, why is because you are inadequately prepared for examination. So try and find out what about exams is making you anxious. Is it because you have not prepared well, or is it because you worry about your future? So you know why, then start working on the why of it. Because I do not know what is making you anxious. So you are not able to sleep before the examination is definitely because you have exam anxiety because of one of those reasons which I told. So try to work on the reasons. If you're getting really difficult or help, seek help. Like you can ask a family member to come, or you can ask your mother or sister. Tell them that you're getting anxious and that you might need a little help to be along with you during the nights. Could be done. But again, when you do that, don't seek reassurance. It'll be easy. No, I'm getting very sick. It'll be easy. No. That time again, you are putting yourselves into more anxiety. How to keep the energy intact that we have on the first day of exam till the last exam? Please remember. See, exam is a very strenuous process, isn't it? So it's just like, you can't continuously run. At a particular point, you have to stop, you have to take refreshments and then continue your running. The same formula applies for your examination. So once you have started, it is it's a race. So in between, you will have to stop, relax, do justice to your body, mind, and then continue. That is why if you see a lot of major exams that are there, not your class tests, your major examinations, they have a lot of breaks in between, basically for this relaxation.
The question from Vishnu S from YouTube. Yes, while attending competitive exams, we tend to mostly not crack in the first attempt and the confidence loses. How to gain confidence?
See, you already know the fact that competitive exams are hard nuts to crack. So one way of getting confidence to speak to people who have already done it. Okay, speak to people who have appeared for competitive exams. Get from their, because see, people who do not know about it will never be able to tell you because they have never been in that. So the best way to enhance your motivation or keep yourselves confident is to speak to people who have gone through. They will share their experiences, and from that will help you better. That will help you better. Okay. in studying what's there in textbook for exam, but I'll forget write something different in the exam which is related to that topic. This is because you have not organized your study. If you have organized your study, every topic, I told you, every topic that is there in your study material has an intro, has contents, sub-contents, and a conclusion. So while from the day you start studying, if you organize your reading material in that way, then you revise it sufficiently, then it is adequately arranged.
This is the question in YouTube, ma'am, and most of them may be relating to this.
Yes.
In lockdown period, they're feeling nervous, anxious, and irritated. So what? I was not like this previously. Please tell me what to do.
Okay. Now, how to handle yourself during the lockdown? First thing is, please have a schedule. Make a routine or a schedule for yourselves. That is, what am I doing at 8 o'clock? What am I doing at 9 o'clock? So have a schedule so you know what is happening with you. Half of the time you don't have a schedule, you don't know what you're doing at what point. That is building more anxious. So that is one. Have a schedule. Have certain relaxation strategies. Have a form of exercise or relaxation strategy during the period. Third, don't lose in touch with your, have a structure. Okay, don't lose in touch with your academics. Have a structure. Spend some time so that you don't feel disconnected or lost from your academic purpose. So spend some time on your studies regularly. 4, keep in touch with your friends and faculty. Talk to them, have chats with them. Keep in touch with your friends and faculty. And one more very important thing is, limit yourselves for looking onto media for information. You stick to one news channel, which is very genuine. See only that. Okay, so which is reliable. Don't see every other piece of information, because you are just bombarding yourselves with a lot of information and dropping yourselves into more anxiety. So what you do is stick to yourselves to specific information, one news channel, and then limit information. Whatever you want, only that much. Don't bombard yourselves with information overload about this person told that, this university told that, this minister told that. No, what you require, have a structure, keep yourselves connected to friends as well as your academics. Don't overload yourselves with information. Have strategies for relaxation. So much you need to follow during the lockdown.
This is the last question, ma'am, from Ritu Naik on YouTube.
Okay.
Student mind is mainly set up for an exam date, which will be announced, and then they begin studying. So now, as we are in lockdown, what message would you like to give the students?
Please, you shift your focus from examination date to purpose of examination. Okay, so I told you, examinations, all of you have to remember, none of us are scared about the marks during the examination. All of us are scared because of the social evaluation. What will others think? I do understand now it's slightly scary because next year, or for those who are degree, post-graduation, yes, these anxieties are common in all of us. The whole world is going through a pandemic, so the face is anxious itself. But if you're sticking on to just a date, now a date is just a trigger for your examination. It helps you set. Okay, now at least you know that there you have to write your examination. So even if you don't do a full-fledged preparation, start keeping yourselves focused, because you are totally disintegrated, and suddenly when a date comes, you can't set yourselves into track. Very difficult, because from 3 months we are working on a different lifestyle. The way we function is very, very different. So what you need to do is start slowly putting yourselves back on track. So every day, even if you're not studying 4-5 hours, at least 1 hour a day, 2 hours a day, if you're keeping in touch with your academics and you're slowly setting in track, then if you're at that pace, then slowly when the examination date comes, you can put yourselves in pace. Okay, Kaveshri says, this is something which many students go through, that I study well for the exam, but when it's the last exam, it's gone. This is because when the last exam, what are we telling ourselves cognitively? What are we giving ourselves affirmations? Over. This is over. Once this is over, it is done. So more than performing or doing well for the examination, the message we are giving ourselves is, this is the end. That is why we end up in trouble during the last examination. So please don't give yourselves this, if I am done with this, it is done. No. See, we all have a lot of negative ideas. Exam in itself is a big threat. How do we know exam is a threat? No, exam is just an evaluation that you're doing. So you're like, idondu aadre mugitu. If this is over, we are done. So when you keep, more than taking it as a pleasure, we are taking it as a pain. Phew, if this is done, I am done for it. Please don't do it like that. This is basically because of the instructions we give ourselves. Okay, there is somebody who has fear of practical exam. The fear of practical exam is basically because in theory you are just writing, nobody is there around you. This is the same fear of social evaluation. Now in practical exam, what happens? You are getting an immediate feedback. The Viva person is there in front of you, the teacher is there, the immediate feedback is there. That is why there is a lot of fear, much more than the theory in practical. That is why this is there. So what you need to do is relax yourself, calm. If you feel that while talking or while performing you're getting anxious, take a lot of deep breath, relax, talk to your room invigilator that you're slightly getting anxious, so they know that and they might be of help. Most of the time in the examination, the question is not clear. You forget during the Viva because you are basically anxious. That is why you forget. So you know, generally when the Viva, you sit, even if you know it is not that the examiner will expect you to tell everything you did. You sit, you slowly relax and answer. You see, Kritika, instead of revising every page, it is easier to revise every concept. That is much more easier, and that organizes the material in your brain much better than every page. As I told you, start organizing your study material concept-wise. So your brain also has concept 1, concept 2, concept 3, then page 31, page 32, page 33. This is difficult. But brain and behavior, motivation, this is much more easier. I'm telling you psychology topic. So this is much more easier than page number 1, page number 2, page number 3. How many hours do we study for a way? Depends, ma. Depends. As long as you're studying, see to it that it doesn't drain you. Study should be an enjoyable process. So why are you studying? To enhance your learning or knowledge. So it's not how much, more than quantity, it is quality of studies which matters a lot when it comes to studying. Thank you all for that feedback. Keeps me motivated. Changes in food will definitely affect your examination, because I told you your body and mind is related. So the kind of food that you eat affects your body, so that affects your mind. So see to it that you don't eat a lot of junk, don't eat a lot of sweet, don't eat a lot of spices, etc. during examination. Sometimes answers are similar. What's the solution for that? See, it's not about answers. See, if you have understood the concept, you clearly know what it is. So this is because we are just doing rote learning. We are by-hearting. But if we study it in terms of a particular concept, then it is easier for answering. Does anxiety affect the writing? Yes, anxiety affects the writing, because sometimes when you have tremors, you are not able to, your handwriting becomes illegible. When you start sweating, then your paper goes on a toss. And then when you are anxious, you cannot think. So there is blankness. You write something, then you know this is wrong, then you cut, you scratch it, and then write again. So anxiety definitely has an impact on writing. Though I want to write some points of what I read, which will help revise, I feel it's a waste of time. Akshata, writing is definitely not a waste of time. What you need to do is, every time you're reading a material, start making points. And next time, revise from the point, not from the textbook. It is not a waste, because you are giving it. Why we feel, I'll tell you why we feel it is a waste. What happens is, when we write, we take a little more time, and all of us are late lathis. We wait till the dead end to prepare for the examination. So aga, what starts happening is, now if I keep writing, time will get wasted, time will get wasted, time will get wasted. So we think that this is waste of time. No, but if you organize your studies right from the beginning, these points that you have written serve or help you a great deal in managing your examination. Mihika, as I told you, this is evaluation. You start feeling that, when they are there around, you feel that they are looking at my answers. If I have written something wrong, what will they think about me? It is the same. It is just the fear of social evaluation. Ma'am, I'm done with all the questions on the box.
Yes, that's it, madam. There are no questions on YouTube too.
Yeah.
Devi Prabha, madam. Unmute yourself, Devi Prabha, madam.
Cannot hear me. Madam Shweta, it
Yes,
was a mind-blowing session, madam.
Thank you.
Big round of applause for your continuous non-stop talking.
Thank you.
You have spoken from 10:30 till almost 1 o'clock now. So 12:30, continuously for 2 hours. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much,
My
ma'am.
dear students, I am making an announcement regarding the feedback form now. I hope you are listening to me. We will post the feedback form in your respective WhatsApp groups. The feedback form also contains MCQ test. There are 10 questions. If your 4 answers are right, you will get an e-certificate. As soon as you submit your feedback form, the e-certificate will be delivered in your registered email ID. Therefore, while filling the feedback form, be very, very careful to write your name. The name what you write will appear on your certificate. If you commit any mistake there, then your certificate will have mistake. It cannot be rectified. It is e-generated certificate. And write your email ID properly. If you commit a mistake there, you will not get your certificate. So be careful while writing your name and your email ID on the feedback form, and answer the 10 questions. I will request Madam to run through the PPT if possible without any explanation so that students can see the screens. And dear students, only whatever Madam has presented now, simple questions are asked. I am sure all of you will get not just first class, you will clear with a distinction. Because you don't have the writing the exam.
I hope nobody is getting exam anxiety now.
No, definitely not.
Okay,
and this is the test, and I'm sure all will do very well. And we will get back to you about their performance, Madam, because I'm sure the students, I can read the feedback, they have enjoyed thoroughly the session, and you have done a wonderful job. You are an amazing resource person. My dear students, I think I am clear about the feedback form. We will post it in a while, and this feedback form will be there in your respective WhatsApp groups only till 4 p.m. Only till 4 p.m. After that, the feedback form will not be enabled. I hope I am clear. Now I request the organizing secretary of the webinar, Mrs. Sabina D'Souza, to propose vote of thanks.
Ma'am, do I share the slides now or after some time?
After her vote of thanks, you share, Madam.
Yes. Once again, see all of you, the lockdown is there. None of us can avoid it. Take it chill. You all are going to do amazingly well, and wish you all the best for every exam that you are going to write in your future. All the best.
Sabina?
Yes. Thank you, Madam. Gratitude is the antidote to fear. It is my privilege to thank each one of you for your contribution towards this webinar. My profound gratitude to Dr. K.T. Shweta, the resource speaker of today's webinar, for the excellent presentation and making this webinar interesting and meaningful. I'm sure that most of the students feel light and fearless when they think about their examination. Thank you so much, Madam, for your time and sharing your expertise with the participants. Heartfelt thanks to Shri Dinesh Kumar Alva, the President and the EC members of the Mangala Alumni Association, for collaborating with St. Agnes College in the organization of this webinar. I take this opportunity to thank our dear Principal, Sister Dr. Vanessa AC, and Vice Principal, Sister Rupa AC, for their guidance and encouragement. I thank all the students from various colleges and institutions for participating overwhelmingly in this webinar. Thank you so much for your cooperation. A special thanks to Ms. Jonita, Assistant Professor of BCA, and Mr. Gurucharan, Technician, for the technical help. I conclude by saying, don't stress, do your best, forget the rest.
Thank you, dear students. Thank you, Shweta ma'am. Thank you all the participants for your wonderful performance during the webinar by asking questions. and for your patience, especially when we had technical glitches, you supported us. Thank you very much. And if at all you are interested for us to conduct more such useful webinars, please communicate to us. Thank you all once again. Thank you very much. Thank you, Shweta Madam. Thank you very much once again. Now, Shweta Madam, can you present your PPT once again, run through for the participants who are waiting? Shweta Madam will present her PPTs once again.
Yeah, I'll do it now, ma'am. Just a minute.
Sure. Some joined late. Some have joined late.
You're able to see my PPT?
No. Not yet, madam.
Yeah, just a minute. Just a minute.
Yes, it is. I request all the participants.
Now?
Not yet. Yeah. Yes, madam.
Yes.
Make it full screen. All the participants, please have a glance over the PPT screens. These are valuable tips to overcome examination fear and anxiety. Dear participants, Shweta madam has shared her WhatsApp number. Yes, madam?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Shweta madam has shared her WhatsApp number and her address. If you need any help, you can contact her. I think all have viewed your WhatsApp once again and they are ready now to write the test. So we will be ending this webinar now. I thank the college, St. Agnes College and the Mangala Alumni Association for supporting us, and especially UGC Paramarsh scheme for sponsoring this webinar, and Shweta ma'am for being a wonderful resource person, and all the technical staff who have helped us to carry out this webinar smoothly. Thank you once again. Shweta madam.
Yeah, thank you ma'am. Thank you again.
Thank you. And leave now. Thank you, dear students. You can leave now. We will post the feedback form in your WhatsApp group. But remember, by 4 p.m., you should finish answering it and submitting the feedback form. Write your name correctly, email ID correctly. Please remember. Thank you once again.